Hi ladies, welcome to part 2. Actually this is now several hours later because I recorded this video and it didn't work properly, so I'm having to do it again. So more experience. So on this section we're going to make the last 3 cards, and we've got some nice stamping to do on this one as well. So I'm going to start with this one. So I'll pop those to one side. So, and you've got an envelope with everything in that you need. Okay, now if you look at this one a little bit more closely, I've actually fussy cut some extra butterflies out to add to the card. So there's 2 on that side, and that one's just fallen off, and there's 1 on this side. So I'm not going to do that on this one, just see how it works out without. Okay, because it's a little bit boring just watching me fussy cut out some butterflies. There we go. Right. So you've got in your pack a piece of the designer series paper which glues onto the front, just the right size to glue on the front, and you've also got a spare piece, and this is where I did the fussy cutting from, to cut out the little extra butterflies that I used. And then from when you cut out your butterflies earlier, you still have this butterfly left to use, so we're going to use that one. So 2 pieces of card here. One is very slightly smaller than the other one, so taking the smaller one, what I did was I glued the butterfly down, and on this one I did also use dimensionals under the wings so they stand up better. Let's just have a look. So there you can see that there where I've used the dimensionals, so the wings just stand away. So what I'm going to use for that is, when I can find them, here we go. So I'm just going to use the edges of the dimensionals, because it just makes a nice small piece that I can stick under the wing. So we've got, and with it being quite a big wing, I'm going to use 4, 2 for each wing. Okay, and as I say, just using the edges. So 1, 2, oh, still got 1. Don't only take 1, only have 1 sticky side. The other side you want to leave covered so that it doesn't stick to the card, because you want these wings to flutter, you don't want them sticking down. Okay, I'm going to pop some glue down the middle and then glue to the card, and I just want a little bit of the wing just hanging over on this side here. So I'm just going to stick that down in the middle, keep him nice and straight while he can still wiggle. And then I'm going to do the stamping, so it's actually underneath the butterfly. I've got everything in a little box to the side here, and this is not a good idea because it's quite noisy, so I shan't be doing that on Thursday. So use the little hello stamp, but any small stamp will do. Okay, and just going to pop that underneath the butterfly. There we go. And then at this point, this is where I would put my stones on before you put the dimensionals underneath. So just shut up, ink. So the stones I've used this time are the little white ones from the Elegant multifaceted gems. I can just open the packet and find my poker tool. There it is. So I've just put 3 on. So I've put the largest one by the sentiment because that draws your eyes to the sentiment. Okay. And then I've just put 2 smaller ones sort of scattered around really. So just one there and then one over by the wing. So just there. Okay, now I've done that, I can add my dimensionals. Put these away. These are carrying forward to the next catalogue. Quite a few of the gems and things are doing. So, and then we need to pop some more dimensionals on. So I am just going to use, it's a bit too long, so I'll use this one at the bottom. The edges of the dimensionals have so many uses. Particularly when you're sticking on big squares like these. And I'll pop one in the middle as well. Then I can officially throw that piece out. Right, so I'm just going to pop off the backing. And then sticking the 2 pieces together. It's a bit hard lining up without getting in your way. Okay, that's still not quite right. So don't press it down until you're completely happy where you want everything. Of course, I've put the bands on, haven't I? So they have stuck, but never mind. It's nearly straight. Okay. And then we're just going to glue this on here. Actually, it's straighter than I thought it was looking at it. Just gluing the DSP onto the back, onto the card. Checking we're still recording because that's what went wrong before. It had only recorded the first half. Of course, I'd gone on blithely making cards, unaware that the video wasn't recording. So anyway, hopefully I sorted out the glitch, so this should work. Right, and we're just building the card together. Now, if I was really unhappy with this, you know, it's not quite straight, but it's as straight as it needs to be. I'm not too bothered. But if I was really unhappy with it, the best way to get dimensionals off is to get your sharp scissors and put them between and actually cut them in half that way. And then you can remove them and roll off the adhesive and start again. And if you're careful, you can save your piece of card. So and there we go. So there we are with its fluttery wings that don't go all the way down and with the nice gems just going there. So that's card number 1. Okay, and as I say, if you do want to add the additional butterflies, then you just need to fussy cut those out of this paper and glue them where you want. So I quite like the way that one goes over the white paper, but either way, it's up to you. Okay, pop that to one side. And we'll make the second card. So what do we have here? Oh, right. So this time we're going to make this card, which I think is one of my favourites actually. It's on a Just Jade base, and the blue is Misty Moonlight, which you got in the Posted For You set. So hopefully you've got that and you can use that. So, and this time I'm just using it as a background. I've just stamped it and left it alone. If you wanted to colour it in, you could do. I just quite like it like this. So now it's a big stamp, this. Hopefully nobody's cut theirs. Oh, that's a bit too... I've had to quickly cut all this lot out again. I think that's going to be a shade too long. Or maybe the blue's a shade too wide. Yeah. It is. Yeah, well, I'll just centre it up in the middle. Rushing, clearly. Just let me adjust this. Just going to take a tiny smidge off. Oh, that is. So just chop a little bit off there. Just a millimetre. There we go. Right. Okay, as I was saying, it's a big stamp, this. So I'm using my stamping platform. So I've got Stamparatus, a Misty, or any other sort of stamping platform will work well. But I do appreciate not everyone's got one. So if you don't have one, the best way of stamping these big stamps is to pop it on your craft mat, ink whatever you're going to be doing, and then you can position your paper on top, and then either just gently rub with your fingers, or sometimes on a bigger piece I'll use a side of a stamping block just to make sure you get the ink everywhere. Because putting this on a stamp block, it's quite heavy and difficult to manipulate, so it's easier to position where you want if you do it like that. So if you do have a stamping platform, this is the way I do mine. I've got a piece of paper here which is actually 18 centimeters square, and I'm just going to pop the stamp in the middle. It's been on there a while, it's got lines on it. So, and I'm just going to move it a little bit further over. So let's flip my magnet so the washi tape isn't in the way. There we go. I'm just going to pop it there. Bring this down the side. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to actually ink this up with some Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to stamp it on here, and the reason for that is that I can see then where this is going to stamp. Good coating. I mean, if you've got a stamping platform, you know you do get sort of a couple of bites at the cherry because the stamp doesn't move. You can stamp again if you need to. So there you go. So that's what that looks like when it's stamped, which is gorgeous. Okay, so just wipe those all off. So now you can see on the original card, when I show you in a sec, that I've left the top sort of third of the card blank. Okay, so this bit here. So I've got this butterfly, and I've got half of this one, a little bit of that one, and just the tip of that wing there for that one stamped here, and then that was blank, and I've just covered it up with the sentiment. So what you need to do is think about where you want to put your piece of card. So I'd like that big butterfly in and maybe a little bit of that one. So what I'm going to do is position that maybe even a little higher, so that I'm just going to catch a little bit of that wing, half that butterfly, that full butterfly, and the full swallowtail, because that's like the focal image that I'm going to use for this particular card. So, and then I still tend to ink the whole stamp when I'm doing this, just because I feel safer if it's all inked, I think. Okay, so that hasn't moved, so I'll just move that across, leaving the blank area at the top. Just fairy fingers pressing that down so we get the ink onto the paper. Okay, I'm making doubly sure because the paper is going to move. There we go. And so we've just got the swallowtail there in the middle at the bottom being the focal image, and then the others just round the outside. Okay, I'll leave that where it is because I'm going to use another technique on the next card. If you don't have a Stamparatus or a stamping platform, Stampin' Up! Do this one. It has a lot of advantages, so it's a nice little one to use. And it's open on the side, so you can actually use it on much bigger pieces of card, like if you're scrapbooking or anything like that. So do let me know if you want some more details. Right, so we just need to build the rest of this card. So I need to stamp the sentiment, which is here. I've already put, and it's your day from the Happiest of Birthdays set, which again you've all already got. What have I done with the rest of the card? It's here. So I've cut all these out for you. So again with the Misty Moonlight, to get this piece, pop some ink on. Now I've made sure that the stamp is straight on the block. So I then make sure the stamp is straight on my mat. And then there's a pretty good chance that the stamping will be straight as well. It's not always guaranteed, but we'll try. So, a bit further over, excuse my head. It's much easier if you can stick your bottom out and get your head over the top. There we go, nearly. Oh, just caught it just on the edge there. It's going to have to do, I'm afraid. Too much rocking. I make these mistakes, so you don't have to. Just see if I can just get that off with my sand eraser. No, it's a bit paler, but it's not gone. Right. But of course, we forget. We have two sides. So I'm going to do that again, and this time I'm not going to rock it. Does catch on that edge there. Okay, I'm going to bring it a bit closer to me so that I can see better what I'm doing. And then we're going to go straight down. And straight up. Yay! No edges. Okay, so now we're just going to glue everything together. The best bit. Right, so we'll leave that to dry a couple of seconds. And we can do this one first. So, glue on the back. And just centre it on your card. That's it. And then more glue and stick it on the card itself. So don't forget, because we're actually on a YouTube video, If you want to rewind, you can. If you want to fast forward, you can as well. The other thing as well, there is a box at the bottom underneath the video with a thumbs up and a thumb down. So I'd be really grateful if you could do a thumbs up if you feel it warrants it. And that means it goes towards my YouTube statistics and gets me seen more, which would be great. Okay, and then putting glue on the bad side. And I just think it's quite a quick card, this, but it just looks really effective. Those butterflies look gorgeous just in the blue. Try not to put your card in the glue. Right. Okay. So we stick that together, and then I'm just going to put it at the top here with an even border all the way around the outside like I did before. So yeah, while the other two cards in this section I had actually seen on Pinterest, this is a Linda special. So okay, and just wiggle it around so you've got a nice even border. And there you go. Okay. I'm loving that one. I think that's really nice. Right, so we're on the closing straight. Just one more card to go now. And this is this one. Now on this one I actually did this in Smoky Slate and then realised that you will actually have those of you who've signed up for the video classes for the coffee and card have got a grey granite stamp pad. So I thought you could dig that out and use it for this card. So again, we're stamping on a background and then we're stamping a butterfly and we're just sticking him over where the original butterfly was. So it's like a spotlighting technique but with a bit of 3D as well. So there's a couple of different techniques I've used here. So this one I've just stamped him on his own and then cut him out on his own. I'll show you how I've done that. And this one obviously I've stamped the whole of the background. So again, we're going to use the stamped image we did when we started. So I've not moved the stamp. So that's still there, and I know that's where it's going to stamp. Now this one, I want butterflies all over the paper, but I do want, again, the swallowtail to be towards the top a little bit and in a bit so we're not hanging over the side with the die cut butterfly. So I'll get the kit out. Okay. So this one here is for your butterfly. That's a bit bigger than you've got, but yours are pretty big. So I just want to be a little bit over from where the butterfly finishes. So probably about 0.5 centimetre, which is this line here. So, and I want to be just towards the edge there of the bottom butterfly, perhaps a little bit more there. Okay, so that the swallowtail is in the right place there. And I'm going to wink all over this. Just making sure it's completely covered. Okay, and then lift that up and stamp it down. Okay, so just making sure that you're putting even pressure all across the stamp. Okay, and then if we lift that up, not quite on that butterfly. There we go. Okay, so that's stamped beautifully, and now the next thing we're going to do is the butterfly itself, and I've done that in Memento Black because I've coloured in using the blender pens, which are alcohol based. So if you used our pigment inks, they leak if you then colour it in with the alcohol pens. So again, this time what we need to do is stamp out our butterfly. So you put your piece of card on so it completely covers the butterfly. Get your black ink pad. Just going to close this one up. Okay, so we've got your black ink pad here, and I'm just going to ink the swallowtail and the little bits around him. I'm assuming it's a him, I have no idea. Right. I wonder if butterflies are like birds and they have little brown females. I have no idea. Right, okay, so now I'm just going to stamp that. So drop it over. And as I say, if you don't have a stamping platform, then you can just lay it on your mat, stamp the ink on the butterfly, and then put the piece of paper on the top. And stamp. Okay. Again, it's just missed that bit there. There we go. Okay. So he's all ready to cut out. And we've finished with the stamparatus at least. Naughty husband walking through as I'm filming. Stomping through as I'm filming. So you just need to cut that one out using your die. And again, you just cut out using that particular piece of the die set. So just position it on the swallowtail, put it through the machine, and then we're done. Okay, so again, true Blue Peter fashion, I've already done one. Okay, so, and I've coloured that in with some blends. So I've used the main body of a swallowtail tends to be yellow. So I'm just going to quickly go around with my light Daffodil Delight, which tones with the card base, which is also Daffodil Delight. Just quickly doing this. Colouring in the wings. Okay. And then I actually Googled what swallowtail butterflies look like. And they are predominantly yellow, but they have a red and blue spot at the bottom of each wing. So I'll just finish doing this and then I'll fill that in. If you wanted to, you can do lots of shading and things to really make it come to life. But I think at the moment I just want to get the coloured in and on the card. Just so that you can see what I've done. Missed that bit there, haven't I? There we go. And then I've used, so that's the light Daffodil Delight. Then I've used the real red. And I'm using the narrow end, so it's more like a pen. And I'm just going to colour this bit in red because, as I say, this would be what a proper, an actual swallowtail will look like. Again, using the little end, I'm just colouring in above in the blue. That's a Night of Navy pen I'm using there. And then I've used the bronze to fill in the body. Which again, I've used the thicker end. There we go. So you can take as much time as you like over that. I'm just quickly showing you so we can get the card done. So, and you've also got, while that's drying off, oops, you've got a little stitched oval, and I'm just going to put Thinking of You in here. Okay. There we go. And this card, everything I've done flat. I've not put dimensionals under the wings. You can do if you want to. So we just need to finish off the card. Put all my lids on my ink before we get them anywhere they shouldn't be. Okay. So start by mounting this onto the real red. Okay. Just a very 2mm edge around that. And then I'm going to add that to the front of the card. Like that. Yeah, I think my base is a little bit wider on this one I've thrown together. So, and then you're going to position the butterfly here so it's covering all the detail from the stamp. So glue down the middle. And you can see on this is just the alcohol pen does come through the paper as it blends together. Stick it on so it's covering all the detail of the stamp. So it's like a spotlighting technique, a sort of stepped up spotlighting technique. You could just colour in the butterfly as it stands on the background, but I think it just is a bit nicer to have the die cut there. And then last bit of gluing, then we're done. So that's 3 more cards in your armoury. And I just put that a little bit under the wing and in the middle, just there. Okay, so that's in the smoky slate and this one's in the grey granite, and I love them both. Okay, so and now's where I just get everything out that we've made. So still my favourite. And then we've got that one as well. So I hope you like the cards. As I say, if you could put a thumbs up, that would be really good for me. And I shall see you all soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.